Hello, hello. This is Things to Do. My name is Erin, and I have a few different suggestions for you today, and I will jump right in. The first one is uh, it's kind of a play on a thank you note, but it's a little bit more in depth, um, more thoughtful, a thank you letter. And so, what I mean by this is not just thank you so much for the beautiful sweater you gave me for my birthday type thank you note. This is a little deeper. This is written to maybe a neighbor from years ago, a teacher, a coach, a mentor in your career. But sit down for a few minutes, and it doesn't have to be 4 pages long. It really can be less than 10 sentences long. You just want to share that you are very, very thankful for what they shared with you, offered you. It could be something that maybe they were extremely patient with you during a particularly tough time, and that made a huge difference. Maybe they were very, very inspiring and they just kind of lit a fire in you. Uh, just really look back. It doesn't have to be in the last year or two. It could be, your entire lifetime. Look back, um, and just let them know because they may not be aware. Think about it. There are people in our lives that really had a positive, wonderful impact on us, and they may be oblivious to it. So consider sitting down and writing a really well thought out, um, appreciative, kind thank you letter. Ideally, you have their address and you mail it. Even as an adult, who doesn't love getting a card or a letter, a handwritten letter in the mail? But if you don't have their address, perhaps you can find their email address. An email is still wonderful. So consider doing that. I think it'll make you feel good, and I know it will make the recipient feel good because, as I said, they may not be aware that a simple act of kindness or a period of time and when they spent time with you had such an impact on you. And again, it could be a teacher, family friend, a great aunt, uncle. I mean, we all have hopefully several people in our lives that had a positive impact on us. So that's the first thing. Second thing is it is spring right now and baseball season is upon us. Consider going to a little league baseball game. If you have children, grandchildren, neighbors, little ones, nieces, nephews, co-workers, little ones, someone talking about little league, consider going to one of the games. They are so entertaining, especially the little ones. When my son was little, he played t-ball before he could even get to baseball. And at that time, I want to say they started them maybe 4 years old. Uh, and he had one particular friend on the team who was not interested in baseball. He loved being out there. He was very social. He was all about the uniform, but just playing baseball, t-ball, it was okay. A couple of particular games in mind. He was playing out in the outfield. He had a position in the outfield, and he was picking flowers. Not only was he picking flowers, he was sitting down picking flowers. And not only was he sitting down, he was sitting down with his back to the game. And his mom, a friend of mine, was hollering from the grandstand or the benches and trying to get his attention to get him to stand up and turn around. And a couple of coaches were, hollering his name. And no, he was just really, really enjoying being out there in the sun and picking flowers. He also, on more than one occasion, when the team got called in to go to bat, he would accidentally go to the wrong dugout. And he would go in and he would sit down on the bench, and you'd see him laughing and talking to the other players. And it would often take him a few minutes before someone said, hey, you're in the wrong dugout. That's the wrong team. They're not your team. Our team's over here. So anyway, it's just really entertaining to watch. So consider going to a little league game. Also, if you have a minor league baseball team in your area, consider going to a minor league baseball game. I went for my first time in a long time when my kids were younger. It was my daughter. She was on a t-ball team. I think she was the only girl, maybe one other girl. It's been so long, but she loved it. And as part of the season, her coach got all of the team together and all the families together, and we went to a little league game, or excuse me, a minor league game. And it had been a while, and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. The game itself was very interesting and entertaining, but I was amazed at how much other things were going on. There was loud music. There was people, of course, doing the wave. There were, in between innings, there would be a little entertainment where they, get the slingshot and send a bunch of t-shirts out into the stands. And they had some different games going where people were wearing these crazy costumes that were pieces of a cheeseburger. And it was like a relay race, these two teams, and whoever could, they were piling up, there was a bun, and then a cheeseburger and cheese and veggies and the top bun. Whoever got done first won it. So that was really funny to watch. And the program, we bought a program, and I was really glad we did, because number one, it was a really high quality program. I was very impressed, leafing through it. But during the game, something would flash on the screen and they'd tell you to look at page 17 or page 2 or 23. And if you have this particular code, you'd win something. So, there was just so much going on, just not at all what I expected. And I really, really enjoyed it. One other thing about that game, my daughter's team got to go out on the field and stand with the player, the real professional player of the position they had. So the pitcher went up to the pitcher's mound and stood there, and the little kid who played first, and so on. And so they did that, and maybe there was the first pitch or something, I can't really recall. And then they got to run the bases, the kids did. And we were all seated over at first, and this is a large stadium. And we were all seated over at first, behind first, and they ran the bases. And then someone on the ball field sent them up into some gates and some stairs to get back to seating, but it was all the way over by third base. So all of the families stand up and start running. Because it was quite a distance through the stadium to get to all these kids. We just see them. No one's over there to meet them. And we just see them going into different aisles and going into different rows, and it was a few minutes of chaos, but I do recall that happening. So anyway, consider going to a couple of baseball games. The third item, not so much fun, but still something important to do, and that is refresh your budget. If it has been a year, months, even some people do it monthly. I certainly don't do it monthly, but we all have little things that sometimes creep up into our budget and we don't realize it, like maybe our cell phone service goes up. If you still have cable, maybe cable goes up, or some additional little fee that you didn't even realize you signed up for. Or maybe there's a really strong trend on spending a particular category and you're not fully aware of it. So just refreshing your budget is really helpful, and I think it's really well worth your time. And then you can look at maybe possibly canceling some subscriptions and looking at how you can maybe rein in some spending in this area and that type of thing. So I do think it's beneficial. It serves a good purpose. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I greatly appreciate it. Consider subscribing and liking, and I will have another video out soon. Thanks again.